Hello everyone, very good morning and welcome back to Crack Grade B. So, good morning. Let's start with our schemes. We have already completed till study in India, right? We are going to complete more schemes today. Let me see till where we have completed. Yes. So the next thing that we have to study is our depository related scheme, right? So first of all, let's see this National Academic Depository. Yeah. So what is National Academy Depository is? So whatever marks or degrees or whatever diplomas you have scored, they all will be stored online, right? So sorry. So this is the only purpose of your National Depository, Academic Depository. See, the schemes from now onwards, that means from this point onwards, you just have to remember the name as well as the aim of the scheme. That's it. Only that much is required. Not we will not go much deeper into that, right? We will not see many of the provisions. We will just see the aims as well as the name of the scheme, right? And it is implemented by which organization. These 2-3 things are more than sufficient from now onwards, because these schemes, these are not recently in news, but they have been launched, right? So we have to complete all of them. National Academic Depository, what you are going to keep in this particular depository: your certificate, diplomas, degrees, mark sheets, etc., which have been awarded to you by the academic institution. Which are the two organizations that are going to work on this? So there are two interoperable digital depositories. One is your CDSL, next is your NSDL. CDSL means Central Depository, right, Services Limited, and NSDL means your National Services Depository Limited. What these both kinds of organization do, they provide you depository services. If I talk it in simple terms, that means they store your data in a digital format and then they remain responsible for the security of that particular data, right? Next is Scheme for providing quality education to madrasas and minorities. So Department of School Education has came up with this scheme. Under this, there is a scheme of providing quality educations in madrasas as well as the minority institutes, right? Both of them are implemented at the national level. That's it. Next is, let's talk about the scheme to provide quality education in the madrasas. So you see, quality education, when it is provided, when you train the teachers well, right, when you have the infrastructure at the school level or the madrasa level. So these are the few points on which we are going to develop, or on which we are going to provide the assistance to the madrasas. There is eligibility condition also, right? In order to be eligible for this particular scheme, you have to fulfill certain criteria. So that is also one thing that you should be taking care of. So see, what are the objectives of this particular scheme? We want to strengthen capacity of madrasas around the subject like science, mathematics, languages, etc. Training of teachers every 2 years. Providing science lab, computer labs. That means we want to build up the infrastructure for them. Next, provision for science, mathematics skills in primary and upper level, as well as strengthening of libraries as well as book banks. Now, what is the eligibility? That is our next important point that we want to talk about. Madrasas which have been in existence for at least 3 years, and those are registered with central or state government or madrasa boards, they shall be eligible for assistance under this particular program. A new madrasa, you cannot come up with that and just get eligible for it. You have to fulfill this particular eligibility criteria, right? The next component was infrastructure development of the minority institutes. First scheme was specifically for madrasas, and then we are talking about minority institutes. So In India, we have identified 6 minorities, right? And I have told you already that there is a language-based minority as well and religion-based minority as well. What we have identified is religion-based minority. So salient features of this particular scheme is you want to provide and you want to strengthen the school infrastructure in the minority institutions, right? And you want to encourage the educational facilities for girls, children with special needs and those who are educationally deprived. Next is national awards to teachers. This was in news because in the year 2022, our Honorable President, they have given the awards to the teachers. So this is a cash prize of 50,000 which is given to the teachers, right? There is no restriction on the basis of state, etc. There is an online application form, anyone can fill it, and according to that, there is an independent selection jury committee. That committee will be selecting that who are the teachers to whom this particular award should be granted, right? So let's see, because this has been in news, a very small news item it is, but still we should be covering this. So National Award to Teachers, this was instituted in 1958. What we give under this? A silver medal, certificate as well as 50,000 cash prize, right? This award is given on the occasion of Teachers Day as a recognition of meritorious teachers who are working at primary, middle or secondary level. Very important thing is the eligibility criteria. So online self-nomination is there. You have to self-nominate yourself. No one is going to do the nomination on your behalf. Next important things is all regular teachers are eligible. No minimum years of service required. So these are the features which are important. No state UT's quota for final selection. It is not, that will not happen that okay, we have to select 2 teachers from Meghalaya or 1 teacher from Sikkim. That kind of quota does not exist, right? It can happen that maximum number of teachers are from one state or vice versa. Anything can happen. Final selection, who's going to select? So final selection will be from independent national jury. Number of awards rationalized to 45. Now, and one more thing, 2 awards can be given to the teachers who teach the special category of students. That means the disabled students. If they are teaching them, such kind of teachers can be given. Specially 2 awards are reserved for them. So this was a relevant news that President Draupadi Murmu, she has conferred national awards to the teachers on September 5 to honor their unique contribution, and 2 awards has been given to the teachers who teach in special category. So this thing has also been done, right? Next is Pradhan Mantri Innovative Learning Program Dhruv. So what this program has been launched in association with ISRO, right? So under this first of all, students are identified. Meritorious students will be identified, and the aim is to make them a shining star like Dhruv. In what fields we are going to train them? So science and humanity, your arts, field of performing arts. These are the 2 fields which has been identified, and the students will be trained in that. Correct? So this is the what is all about in this scheme. Let's read it very briefly. So Dhruv, the aim is to identify talented children, right, and then impart them knowledge, mentor them by the experts in different fields. So it was inaugurated in 19 at ISRO headquarters, right? What 2 areas are covered in it? Science as well as performing arts. There are 60 students in all from whole country. They are going to identify only 60 students, right? And 30 from each area. 60 students are selected broadly from class 9th to 12th. And this is how, like your, just wait for a second. Yeah. So the group from science streams, they will require to produce a project under the mentorship of the experts from the field, right? And the students which are belonging from the cultural field, they have to perform under their experts. Next is your Pragata Guidelines. These are the steps for digital education. See, what is happening over here is Pragata Guidelines, when the COVID year arrived, that means the year of 2020, we all suddenly shifted to the online education. But how to proceed with online education, what kind of steps should be taken, what kind of the preventive steps should be taken so that the health of the children is maintained. So all of that thing, all of these things have been listed under your Pragata Guidelines. These are the guidelines regarding how the digital education should be conducted, right? Like one of the guidelines is that there should be gap between the online sessions. That means the classes which you are taking online, there should be a gap between it. Next thing is how many sessions you can take as per the standard. So for class 9 to 12, because they are grown up children, the guidelines have allowed taking of 4 sessions a day, maximum 4 sessions. It cannot go beyond that. So hence the practice which was happening at the COVID time, that the teachers were conducting 6 sessions, that is normally 6 to 8 sessions, that is normally being conducted at the school level, that was prevented, and that was said ki please do not do this. Hence for that Pragata Guidelines were brought in. One more thing, these are advisories in nature, these are not mandatory, right? So this is what hinders what you can say effective implementation of these guidelines. Let's see them. So Pragata Guidelines, they have been developed from the perspective of the learners, right? These guidelines on the digital and online education, they provide a pointer how to carry forward the online education. These are prepared by NCERT. So just an example of it, not much of the things we are taking under these particular guidelines. So we are implementing digital educations, right? For pre-primary classes 1 to 12, 1 to 8, 9 to 12, this is what recommendations have been given. For pre-primary, screen time cannot be more than 30 minutes. For classes 9 to 12, online learning may be undertaken but not more than 4 sessions of 30 to 45 minutes each. So you do not have to remember all the Pragata Guidelines. You just have to remember that Pragata Guidelines are for what? So you have to remember that this is for the online education that is being conducted in our country, right? Now we'll be reading some of the research schemes under the ministry that has been launched. Now these schemes, understand this, what is the criteria of these schemes? So either these schemes have been focused on the manufacturing, or these schemes have been focused on the research related component. Most of the times these schemes has been implemented by your technology institutes like your IIT, IISc, all these institutes. So what you have to remember, so names of these schemes are very confusing. They are very similar with each other. So you have to remember the name, its full form, right? What is its aim, and it is implemented by whom. These 3 things you have to remember. We have not taken these schemes in detail because they has been launched, that has been quite of some time now from that time. So hence these are not as much relevant now, but yes, because these are continuing, hence we have to study them. They are not making headlines, but still. Number 1 is your imprint, impacting research, innovation and technology. So you see the nodal agency is IIT Kanpur. What you want to develop? You want to solve major engineering problems with this particular scheme. 10 technology domains have been identified, and this scheme will be doing the research in all these technology domains, right? Like your health, nanotechnology, advanced resources, geotechnology, all of these are those things. It is a joint initiative of the IITs and the Institute of Sciences under the ministry. Next is your Imprint 2.0. Funding is jointly by Department of Science and Technology with Ministry of Education, right? Coverage is all Ministry of Education funded higher educational institutions, especially the IITs, NIITs, Science Education Research Institute, IITs and CUs, Central Universities, right? The Uchatar Avishkar Yojana has been subsumed under Imprint 2. Normally project cost will be around 2 crore. Project with industry support is mandatory, and the funding ratio is Ministry of Education with the Department of Science, right, in 50-50. The next things are not very important to understand, right? Hence I am not taking that much into detail because no need of that. So these are the 10 areas where you can be doing this. Next thing is the Gyan. Gyan means Global Initiative for Academic Networks. Now here what we want, that the global pool of the scientists as well as the entrepreneurs, they should be contributing toward our higher educational institutions, right? So this is being said that the best learning that you can have is with experience, right? So hence, apart from the bookish knowledge or apart from the normal kind of education that we provide, we also want to have some kinds of experts who are international experts, right? And we want to do a knowledge sharing with them. So this program is for that. Here what you want to do, you want to tap the talent pool of scientists as well as entrepreneurs, and you want to engage them with the institutes of higher education in India. It will initially include IITs, IIMs, central universities, IISCR, NITs, but subsequently good state universities will also be covered over here. It is wait for a second. So our next scheme is SPARK. SPARK means Scheme for Promotion of Academic and Research Collaboration. So SPARK scheme, the national coordinator of this particular scheme is your IIT Kharagpur. What you want to do under this particular scheme is you want to fill the void between the collaboration ecosystem, right? You want to have funds for long-term visits by the international faculty, but would also fund the travel and sustenance of Indian students. So basically this is again the same thing. You want to collaborate, you want to do the knowledge sharing among the international faculties as well as the Indian counterparts. You are collaborating with 28 selected nations to jointly solve the problems of the national and international level, right? Next is the IMPRESS. So here you are going to do the research in the social science field. It is implemented by Indian Council of Social Science and Research. What you want to do? You want to do the research in social sciences so that it has the maximum impact on the society. What can be the research areas like democracy, employment, urban transformation, etc. All government funded institutions like universities, private institutions, they are eligible. 500 research products would be awarded for the 2-year time period. So not going much, please do not remember all of this, not very important, just remember the name, right? And implemented by whom and what is the aim. That much is sufficient. Next is the STARS program. STARS program, the full form again, Scheme for Transformation and Advanced Research in the Sciences. What you want to do? You want to do socially relevant research in 6 areas: physics, chemistry, biology, nanosciences, mathematics and earth sciences. It is implemented by Institute of Science in the Bangalore, right? Permanent who all are eligible. So permanent faculty members from higher educational institutions like IISc, IIT, NITs and the central universities with NIRF ranking within 100, right? So these are all the eligibles. Obviously, research will be done by whom? Who is already having a knowledge base. So the faculties which are there in all these organizations, they have the knowledge and we are going to provide them the support in order to do the research on these particular 6 relevant areas. Next, talking about the STRIDE. So it is Scheme for Transdisciplinary Research for Indian Development. What we want to do over here is, we want to do the research which is socially, locally needed, nationally important and globally significant, right? Now this has got components. Under these three components, first of all, you want to do the capacity buildings, right? Next is research and inclusive innovations in all the disciplines, high impact transdisciplinary research in humanities as well as the human sciences. So following subjects of humanities like your law, education, arts, journalism, mass communication, in all these areas you want to do the research. At the end of the day, you just have to remember the name of the scheme, whether it is for research or not, because all these details will not be asked. Involvement of the young talents, students, undergraduate as well as research fellows, that means who are doing the PhD etc. You want to include them. Wait for a second. Next we have got Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. It is implemented by your AICTE as well as Department of Science, Ministry of Education to enable it was Department of School Education. Aim was to enable higher educational institutions who are there to work with the people of rural India to identify what are the developmental challenges, right? And the village adoption scheme is one new thing. 5 villages should be adopted by the participating institute. So this scheme is important, Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. What we want to achieve over here is we want that every institute should be adopting 5 villages, right? And then you are going to help those 5 villages in order to develop in every aspect. So mainly focus of yours will be remaining in the rural areas. So in rural areas and regional agencies, we want to provide the academic excellence in the fields of science, engineering, technology and management. That means the STEM fields. We have seen that majorly in rural areas we do lag behind in these subjects because we do not have the expert faculties who can teach over there. So this is what we want to bridge with this. Coordinating institute is IIT Delhi, right? There is also reservations for the applicants. Next is Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. So what we promote under Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat is your language learning, culture, traditions, music, tourism as well as cuisine. Means you want to celebrate the unity in the diversity. That is the aim of this Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. All the states will be covered over here. Why we want to do this? So this was announced by Honorable Prime Minister on 31st October on the birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, right? What is the objective of this particular is celebrating unity, promoting spirit of national integration, showing our rich heritage and culture, establishing long-term engagement and creating a peaceful environment. How you are going to create this? So food festivals, youth festivals, academic exchanges, sporting events, these are all the initiatives that you will be taking. Tourism exchanges as well. So with this we have completed all the schemes that are there in your Ministry of Education, right? The schemes that we have covered in today's lecture, you just have to remember very small details about them, very little, just the name, full form, aim and the implementing agency. That will do good for you. Apart from that, nothing else is required over here. So this is it. We have completed Ministry of Education. I hope you will be able to read and revise them properly, right? So thank you so much, and if you have watched this video, please do not forget to like this video. Thank you.